Now, on 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app, O'Connor and Company.
7:06, it's O'Connor and Company on this Tuesday morning. Thanks for tuning in to our program. We got a lot ahead of us. Coming up at 8:05, Victoria Coates Heritage Foundation will get her analysis of these terror attacks that have either occurred, as we saw in Australia, or have been thwarted, Germany, Paris, and Los Angeles. Then at 8:35, Rick Grinnell. He's the president of the Kennedy Center, as you know. Got plenty to talk to him about heading into this holiday season. It's Larry O'Connor alongside Julie Gunlock. Good morning, Julie.
Good morning.
And joining us now is Dr. Stephanie Haridopolos, excuse me. She is Chief of Staff and Senior Advisor to the Surgeon General. And here's the important thing. Unlike most doctors in Washington, D.C., she's legit a doctor. Like, if you were over at her house and you, cut yourself, helping in the kitchen, she could actually help fix you. Sprain your ankle, right. She knows what to do. You're a real doctor. And usually people go get some stupid PhD and make you call them doctor in this town.
Oh, well, thank you for that. That's the ultimate compliment. Yeah, family medicine physician and treated patients in Florida for over 2 decades in a small town, and did a lot of public health initiatives on a statewide level, and, just had this amazing opportunity to join this administration during this term. So it's just been an absolute honor working for Secretary Kennedy.
Well, I appreciate you doing this as well, because we were all very concerned about the state of public health coming out of the COVID pandemic, and we need renewed confidence in the people who are giving us advice about what's going on in the world. And so that's why we wanted to talk about this roundtable that was held yesterday about Lyme disease, because, and I'm sorry, I got the giggles just now when we were talking about ticks and all of that stuff. I don't know why. It was like Mary Tyler Moore at Chuckles the Clown. I couldn't stop giggling because this is a serious issue. And first, let's start with the concern and the suspicion that in some way Lyme's disease was an engineered disease. What is that all about?
Well, first of all, I'm still on a high from yesterday, because to give the patients that have suffered for years with persistent chronic Lyme the opportunity to be heard and seen was momentous. And it was a historic paradigm shift in public health, where the invisible diseases are actually being acknowledged. So this is what I believe this administration does, is so I don't want to take away from the patient experience yesterday. We want to come up with patient-centered treatment, and we wanted to have them at the forefront. The clinicians, the researchers, the policymakers, of course, and external stakeholders. It was a big deal. Now, There has been some talk about gain of function, either at Plum Island or Fort Detrick once upon a time in the 50s, that could have created a more virulent these ticks could have been engineered to be more infectious. But look, at this point we could talk about that, but that doesn't help people where they're at. What we need to do is go ahead.
Well, I was just going to ask, what is the current status of Lyme? Does it not get enough attention from the medical community and from public health officials? Is it an uncurable disease?
To the first question, has it got enough attention? It's getting more. We are now focusing more on helping patients with quality of care, symptomatic relief. Is it curable? Well, first you get the infection. Now, just to give you a little education, these ticks transmit the Borrelia bacteria, which then are very hard to treat if not treated straight away with an antibiotic. And even if that is the case and you perfectly treat it, out of the 500,000 Americans a year that suffer from it, 20% go on to have a chronic illness from it, and probably triggered because there's an immune dysregulation that happens. It does something to the immune system where you're in this hyperinflammatory state. And these spirochete bacteria are very smart. They get out of the blood fast into the tissue, and once it's in the tissue, it's very hard to treat because it can create a biofilm around it, even if you get the antibiotics. So primary prevention in public health is what we, of course, always want to preach first, not getting it in the first place. But the margins have grown. The deer ticks are, the deer are running with the ticks. And what used to just be in the Northeast is far greater than that. Now in Florida, it's actually common in North Florida to get Lyme disease. So we need to educate patients about prevention. 1, 2, physicians. So they are putting it on their differential diagnosis. And when people are not getting better, they should not gaslight them. We need to move away from the dogma in the medical community, and we need to recognize these people truly are suffering and meet them where they're at now.
Okay, I have a question. First of all, I want to drive down a little bit more on this gaslighting. What kind of gaslighting is there? What are you seeing? What is the concern? Are doctors not recognizing this? But I also want to get your thoughts on the fact that research is showing that we have a pretty significant mental health problem in this country. And there are people who believe that people do turn to these what are called invisible diseases to sort of say, I'm sick, I have this, I have that, so that they can stay home, so that they don't have to work, so that whatever. What is your guidance or advice to doctors who are kind of dealing with these competing issues of people who certainly don't have a disease and might be using something as an excuse? I mean, is that going to be considered gaslighting if a doctor sort of probes that?
Well, I think that we had a panelist, Dr. Bransfield, a psychiatrist yesterday, who's been treating this for probably 50 years. We know it passes the blood-brain barrier and causes problems in the brain. And it can create people to have diagnoses like schizophrenia, people who become suicidal, homicidal. And I could just tell you that I think psychiatrists sometimes see the failures in medicine, when we have misdiagnosed, when we've missed something that can be treated and cured. So just knowing that in itself. Now, can there be some people that it is psychosomatic and mental health is an issue, but just alleviating some of that stigma and myth that it is and making sure that physicians keep it in the top of their mind. I think that was the theme yesterday for these Lyme patients. I mean, there are people that lost their jobs, couldn't work, are pretty much, living out of their car because they could not work because of their disease. And when a doctor finally realizes what it was of Lyme disease, they actually get their lives back and completely function normally. So how many were missed? And we don't know that. And that's where I think we need to understand that this is a real disease. Just so you know, even if the biomarkers are terrible, because it doesn't like living in the blood. So if you're relying on a test that you have to check the blood for an antibody and it's no longer in there because it's a chronic state and immune function and the bacteria is walled off in a biofilm, it's going to be negative. And so doctors, knee-jerk, are just going to say, oh, it's negative. They must not have it. Does that make sense to you now?
Yeah. Our guest is Dr. Stephanie Haridopolos. She's a senior advisor and chief of staff in the Surgeon General's office. And just quickly, I'll hear this. I love going out and hiking. I've got trails nearby. I've got deer who are hanging out nearby. I get freaked out. How do you prevent getting one of these ticks that might be carrying Lyme disease? What's a preventative measure that you can utilize? Otherwise, I think people will be scared to go out and enjoy our beautiful country.
I know, and we don't want that because we know being outside is great for mental health and exercise, and we want to encourage that. Diet, exercise, and good sleep are the pillars of good health. So, we need to know the season. Starts really in the spring, and early fall it ends when the different stages of the ticks are out there, the larvae, the nymph, and also the adult ticks. The nymphs are very small. They're the size of poppy seeds, and they look like a freckle. And so what I say is covering completely up with long sleeves and long pants avoiding walking in brush if you can. And there is some sprays that people put on, a little controversial, whether you spray it all over yourself, permethrin, for, so the ticks don't come onto it. There's a new medication that might be live in the market soon called Nucatone, which is a cleaner version. We're working on getting that out, but that is not available to the public yet, but might be soon. So making sure that the nymphs will carry the Borrelia bacteria just like the adult ticks. So getting those off of you, really good scan. Taking your clothes, putting it in the dryer when you get out, that kills them.
Okay.
Taking good shower and just surveillance. So looking at yourself, and of course, if you do have, the bacteria can infect you within a couple hours, going straight to the doctor to get on the doxycycline or other antibiotic that's appropriate for you.
Excellent stuff. Thank you so much, Doctor. I appreciate it. Thanks for doing what you do.
Thanks, Doctor.
Well, I appreciate you for having me on and educating the public. Take care anytime.
It is 7:17.
WMAL, making sense of the news. Live from the Home Paramount Pest Control Studios. Home Paramount, the leader in pest control since 1939.
We have an update on the Candace Owens, Erica Kirk mess. Yesterday was supposed to be this live stream that Turning Point USA producers from Charlie Kirk's old podcast are going to put together and sort of address all of the strange claims and accusations and, questions. She's just asking questions, Candace Owens has been putting out there. Just asking questions. What's wrong with asking questions? Yeah. But instead, as we informed you yesterday, there was sort of a last-minute summit held where Erica Kirk said she would be meeting Candace Owens face-to-face. Now, you remember that last week when Erica Kirk did some media, this is cut 15, she was asked about all the things Candace Owens was saying, and what did she say?
What do you want to say to her and the other people that are putting these lies out into the world right now?
Stop. That's it. That's all I have to say.
There you go. Stop. And by the way, Candace Owens had said, listen, I'll stop if Erica Kirk asks me to stop. So there she was saying stop. And the next day, here's what Candace Owens said.
Candace is lying. What do you want to say? Please stop. Please stop lying. I understand. I comprehend. What I don't comprehend is what I've lied about. Have I made errors along the way? Yes. But as soon as she tells me what it is I've lied about, I will cease lying.
Wait. She didn't say stop lying. She just said stop. But then
it's just unbelievable.
Sure, I don't mind. I'll stop lying, but I haven't lied. Therefore, I'll just keep
and then she
getting
goes
those downloads.
You have to be specific. What's the lie? What's the lie? I want to correct you. I never do this, obviously.
No, please do.
You said, you opened this by saying, this Erica Kirk, Candace, mess. It's just a Candace mess.
You're right.
It's
you're right.
Just
you're
a
right.
Candace
I apologize.
Mess. No,
Erica's
I know,
been,
but I mean,
she's been dragged into the mess.
She's been incredibly magnanimous, right? Yes. When she was interviewed about this and her words were just stop. That to me was like, oh my God, I bet she has so much more to say. But she stops herself and she keeps it.
Would you have loved to have been in the room with this meeting that they had?
I have no. I have no doubt Erica Kirk was mature and kind and, again, magnanimous about the whole thing. I think she is a rare individual who really lives what she says. She believes deeply in Jesus and in the Bible, and it guides her. I have no doubt that she was kind to Candace. Not all of us would have been.
Erica Kirk put out a post on X after the meeting, said had a very productive conversation with Candace Owens. More to come from both of us. Looking forward to AmFest this week. That's a conference that Turning Point USA always has the week before Christmas in Arizona. Time to get back to work. All right,
that was
very, very discreet.
Short,
very
perfunctory. Yep.
Candace Owens, on the other hand, opened up her smartphone, did a selfie video, and promoted her next episode. Here's what she said.
That's right. There you go.
4.5 hours later, I'm alive. I'm totally fine, and I'm sorry. I was going to do a show for you guys this evening, but I am truly exhausted. Very productive conversation. I asked every single question. I mean, from Egyptian planes to Turning Point USA Faith, and I was very surprised by some of the answers that I got, and I think they were also very surprised when I shared certain intel. This probably should have happened a very long time ago, but I wanted to let you guys know that I am alive, and I will have the full rundown for you guys tomorrow.
Yeah, tune in tomorrow. Okay.
Transpired.
All right, enough. I feel dirty.
I love the I'm alive.
Yeah, what is that? Was there some suggestion
Yeah,
that Erica Kirk was going to murder
also,
her?
is she going to suggest that, like some sort of assassination plot to the wife of a man who was just assassinated? She's so out of line. So out of line, Larry.
Do we know, was this a face-to-face meeting in person, like a physical meeting that they had?
It sounds like it was.
Right. That's my understanding as well. But here's the weird thing. Remember, Turning Point USA scheduled this live stream and invited Candace Owens to participate. And she said, I can't do that on December 15th. I can't find a substitute for my show. I homeschool my children. I can't get away to do that.
And she made up her husband's birthday, which is actually in June. And
but somehow she was able to skip her show and leave her children without being homeschooled and drop everything for the private behind closed doors meeting.
Maybe it was a Zoom. I don't know.
Yeah. Fascinating. It's all so fascinating. So I'm sure we'll all be checking into. No, we won't. We won't watch Candace today. But
no, and people shouldn't give her off. I mean, look, I know this is this is the whole. I'm not here to say who you can be friends with.
Right.
Okay. I'm talking about platforming people.
Yeah.
Giving oxygen to people, which we're giving. Frankly, I think we're defending Erica Kirk here on TPUSA. But she does everything for her own show, for her own ratings, to make money off of this.
That's right. And I find that distasteful, despicable, and beneath contempt. By the way, don't forget to tune in tomorrow, where we'll give you the latest on what Candace Owens said about Erica Kirk. And
we're not doing that, Larry.
We're not.
We're not doing that.
Absolutely.
She's not a normal part of this show.
Right.
It's just this is an interesting.
I'm teasing.
Michael, I'm making a very important point. He's telling me I have to go to break.
That is correct. And I try to make a joke as we go to break. Thank you. It's 7:24.
If you're part of an HOA, you want to stay around for this next segment. Keep it here at 7:30.
WMAL FM, Woodbridge, Washington, a Cumulus media station. Making sense of the news. News Talk 105.9. News now. Now on 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app. O'Connor and Company.
Good morning. It's 7:37. At 8:05, we're going to talk to Victoria Coates at Heritage Foundation about the rising terror attacks around the world this holiday season. Then at 8:35, Rick Reiner of the Kennedy Center. It's Larry O'Connor with Julie Gunlock. Good morning, Julie.
Good morning.
Our favorite part of Christmas, or one of our favorite parts of Christmas, is the decorations, of course, especially Christmas lights that we like to put up on our house, especially if Gwen Stefani helps us. Who wouldn't want that? So imagine how frustrating it must be for Pahan Salgado in Germantown, Maryland. He's making national news for having a face-off with his homeowners association. His Maryland home, apparently, according to the HOA, is in violation of their community standards. He's been fined $50 per day until he changes his Christmas lights. He's not going to change his Christmas lights, and so that fine is now over $700. He's shared his story with the media, and I got to tell you, I mean, I'm looking at the home. I mean, I've seen a lot worse than this.
Oh, it's beautiful.
It looks lovely. It's probably a little bright. It's all white lights, by the way. It's not garish. It doesn't look like out of control, like 7-Eleven or something. And no offense to people who work.
And it looks like there's a nativity scene too.
There is. No, in fact, he said this is a wonderful time of year. And our decorations reflect back on our faith and our values, our Christian values. We believe in Christ. That's why we decorate our house and we do our lights.
Okay, so who's the head? Who's the commie in charge of the HOA?
Well, that's a good question. I don't know what's going on with this HOA. Why does it? I mean, honestly, you know what?
Look, I get it. Look, they have rules you have to follow. If they let one person go, then it's cats living with dogs. It's chaos. Wait, I get it. Okay, but I don't know.
This is the Middlebrook Manor South Homeowners Association in Germantown. So if any of you live in Middlebrook Manor, please.
This guy's no dummy. You know someone's going to start a GoFundMe. He's going to walk away with $1.5 million.
They said that the lights were an annoyance and a nuisance.
Oh, geez.
It says he got a letter that said you were repeatedly informed that your decorative lawn ornaments and decorative light installations were in violation of the association's governing documents and were an annoyance and nuisance to the neighborhood and other residents.
Is there anything better than an HOA story?
There really isn't. He says in
repeatedly
defense,
told.
He says we're not attracting anybody. Nobody's coming into the neighborhood disrupting. We're not being a nuisance. Some lights on the bushes and a manger scene does not cause a nuisance to the whole community. Okay, well, now, to be fair, it's not some lights on the bushes. It's like every bush is covered in
Larry,
lights.
why are you so anti-Jesus right now? Why?
Not. I'm just...
Why are
just
you
thinking,
such a Grinch?
If my bedroom window faced the street and I had this...
Get curtains. You can even get blackout curtains.
I shouldn't have to get blackout curtains if my neighbor weren't trying to land a
that
Cessna
bright.
on the front lawn.
It's not that bright. Larry.
And you know they're going to keep it up until March.
True. They probably are.
He says, we're not waking anybody up. We're not disturbing anybody. The lights are strictly within our boundaries of our land. It's not going outside. It's not touching anybody's yard. Well, light travels beyond your boundaries of your
Boy,
property.
you really hate these people. What is your problem?
I don't hate these people at all. He says other houses have decorated. I'm just trying to be accurate. To say the light doesn't travel beyond our property is kind of just scientifically untenable, is all I'm saying.
Are you the president of your homeowners association?
Well, somebody has to do it. Other houses have decorated.
How many letters have you issued for your neighborhood, Larry?
None.
Are you?
Other houses have decorated their homes for Christmas. Even down there's a house that has a manger scene and some lights outside. Our front neighbors have a house outside, but it's just us getting harassed. Their neighbor, Al-Awar, who has her own display across the street, agrees that it seems unfair. Okay, so the across-the-street neighbor seems fine with it. But, she's got to live with these people. She says, I don't understand why the HOA keeps bothering them. It brings us joy. I don't know what it is. Why are they targeting these wonderful people, she says, while she goes home and fires off another email. Oh, yes, we love it. It's a beautiful display.
She's actually... She's actually the anonymous source.
All right, here exactly.
Complaining.
All right, here's a little bit from NBC4's report. It's gotten a lot of local coverage, but I assure you, I'm reading it in People magazine. This is a national story here.
Jeez.
They live in Germantown, Maryland, and all they want for Christmas is to spread a little holiday cheer.
We have the manger scene out front, which is like our centerpiece for the display. Shows us our faith and what we believe in and the reason why we decorate for Christmas.
Each year our family has a display and it gets bigger and changes each year.
Okay. All right. So listen, I feel like I'm being propagandized here.
I love them.
They're fabulous.
I love them.
But please, I feel like this is propaganda.
What?
NBC4. All they want is to spread a little Christmas cheer. And then they focus on and the manger scene is lovely. It's beautiful. Do you see the picture of the manger scene I'm looking at? It's got about 500,000 watts of light on the baby Jesus. You're going to blind the Virgin Mary.
All we do on this show is complain about the media, who is as bad about reporting on religion as they are on guns. And now we have a positive story about the crash, okay,
the manger scene that looks like it's part of Taylor Swift's finale.
It's a little bright.
Look at it. Look at the light on it. It's hurting my eyes, and I'm just looking at a picture of it. I have a manger scene, a very tasteful manger scene in my front lawn.
Oh, look at you. Jeez.
It's not going to hurt anybody. It's not going to make someone drive off the road. There's a right way and a wrong way.
You just want to make sure people see it. It's lovely. It's lovely.
Make sure people see it from the moon. It's great.
Clearly
it's
evangelicals.
Lovely. No, admit it. Would you like to live across the street from that?
Yes, I would.
All right. Well, make an offer. It's 7:43.
Later this morning in the Chris Plant Show, now Kamala Harris says she's planning on running for president again. 9 a.m. on WMAL.
Oh, stop that. I am not a Grinch. Hold on now. We got to set the right tone here because we have a This is such a sad, sad story, and I'm sorry. We're having fun here with this home with all the Christmas lights and HOA stuff, but this is the New York Times is reporting something super, super sad. Hold on, listen up here. Apparently, former President Joe Biden has only raised a small fraction of what he needs to build his presidential library. This according to the New York Times. The report, based on public filings and interviews with Biden's donors, said that the former president's library foundation didn't receive any new donations at all in 2024. It's seated with $4 million left over from his 2021 inauguration. Biden was only now beginning to actively start to raise money, but at the end of this year, they've reported now to the IRS that they only expect to bring in about $11 million by the end of 27. Wow. Which is far less than the $200 million that Mr. Biden's aides say they want to raise eventually for his library. And I'm sorry, I'm skimming through this. Where's the sad part?
Someone, one of his, it might be in here. One of his supporters said he'll be lucky to get a bookmobile.
Right. That's one of the supporters that said that.
Yes.
Yeah. Again, this has been presented as a sad story, but I find this. What's the word I'm looking for? Oh, sweet justice. That's what
Yes,
that's the word I'm looking for.
Yes, that's a good way of
Joe Biden, probably one of the meanest, pettiest, most despicable, mean-spirited politicians of the last 50 years in Washington, D.C., now that he has slinked away after his odious presidency, now has trouble raising money for his lamentable effort for a library. And I find this to be fantastic, actually.
It is fantastic, and it is a perfect example of what a failure that presidency was, and how he is surrounded by people who just wanted to enrich themselves and gain power, from his family to his staffers. It is just it's sickening. And honestly, I would feel bad for him. This could look like a case of an old man taken advantage of. No, Biden has been this mean, despicable man in D.C. for decades. He was never a nice guy. Never, ever a nice guy. Nope. Didn't care about anyone but himself and the enrichment of his family. So, and people took advantage of that. His staff, his chief of staff, his intelligence staff, they took advantage of it. And it is despicable what the American public went through. And we are digging ourselves out of it. That is what Trump is doing. That is what Kash Patel is doing. That is what so many of these administration officials are doing, is trying to fix what they destroyed.
And he's gotten what he deserves. And that, boys and girls, is the real story of Christmas. It's 7:54.